Hello, hi to you who's watching me. Today I want to speak uh, on women hair, on what we do with our hair and how we manage our hair. And in the in the religious context, in Christianity, there are ways or there are people who are Christians that have this belief on how we should manage our hair. I hope that you give me some minutes of your time so that I could share my thoughts with you. So, okay, let's get this out of the way. There's nowhere, I mean, I've read the Bible from start to finish, and I'm not saying I know everything and I understand everything in the Bible, but I have never seen anywhere Jesus says or tells women to keep their uh, I do not see anywhere where Jesus tells women to keep their hair long and natural. So let's get that out of the way. If you know this or know a verse or somewhere in the Bible where Jesus specifically says women grow out your hair to be natural and don't do anything to it, show me, tell me, so that I can go back to the Bible and read and see for myself. So we are talking about hair, right? So in the Bible where Jesus talks about hair, it's on Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 30. He talks about uh, the very hairs of your head are numbered. That is uh, the only chapter where Jesus talks about hair, that the very hairs of your head are numbered. Okay, another thing, let's understand what braiding is, because people talk about the book of First Timothy chapter 2, verse 8 to 15. In this chapter, in these verses, it is a time where Paul wrote a letter to Timothy, and he was telling them that women should avoid braiding their hair and making their hair with all these ornaments of gold and pearls, that a godly woman, instead of decorating her hair and wearing expensive clothes, they should instead um, they should instead have show their godliness with good deeds. Okay, on the meaning of braiding your hair. So let me tell you what hair braiding is. It is the process of interweaving three or more strands of hair, creating a durable, decorative, rope-like structure. So braiding is something like this. And maybe you might be thinking, oh, she's talking about this because she wears braids and she's trying to defend herself. I'm going to tell you the reasons why I am a believer of God, I'm a believer of Christ, but I still put hair extensions and braid my hair. So when we speak of not braiding your hair, we're not just talking about braiding hair that has extensions like this. There's a natural hair. We are talking basically about braiding. You can braid your natural hair. So if braiding is forbidden, it means for me, I am walking around with an afro. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having an afro. If you choose to have an afro, well and good. But I should not be faulted for choosing to braid my hair um, or making my hair like this, with you not knowing why I do this. And it's not it's just something I do for beauty. It's not, I do not have any evil intent or any pagan intent. It's just a choice I make to, it's a form of beauty. But if there are people who are out there who choose to have an afro, well and good. But this is what I choose for myself. So there are believers who talk about that, who talk of when you add extensions to your hair or use anything unnatural on your hair, wigs, waves, when you put chemicals, dye your hair, or even straighten your hair, it goes against what Paul is speaking of here, that you should avoid these things. But Paul specifically talks about braiding. He does not talk about straightening or coloring your hair or wigs or anything like that. So let's understand why he's talking about hair braiding. So that it is important for you as a Christian or a follower of Christ, understand the Bible or what you're reading. Don't just take a verse and use it to back up what you think is right in your head. So the context behind Paul speaking against hair braiding, it was a time in this letter he wrote to Timothy. Timothy was in Ephesus, a time that was mid first century AD. So this is a place where people were practicing immorality, and where people were also, they were very pagan and carrying out pagan practices. So the women there were more concerned on their outer look, on braiding their hair, decorating their hair with golden pearls, and focusing on your outward look than on what is in your heart. So Paul was advising that women, in order to be set apart from these pagan practices, they should keep their hair natural. Uh, they should avoid braiding their hair so that they could be set apart from the pagan practices that were being carried out during that time. So this is why Paul is talking of not to avoid braiding your hair. And you know another thing, when you read First Timothy chapter 2, verse 8 to 15, it does not talk. Paul says it's something he desires. When you read that, it does not say that it's something that God desires, or something that the Lord desires for women to do. It's something that Paul says it's appropriate in order to bring order in the church, that women, you should avoid braiding your hair, because braiding your hair during that time in Ephesus was it was a way of focusing on your outward look than what is in the heart. And God does not look on the outward appearance, he looks at the heart. So when you read about that, it also says there was quarreling among the men, and there was quarreling because, imagine, it is a time where Christianity is trying to be born in a city, in a place where pagan practices are going on. So these things that are outside of Christ obviously will challenge what Christ is talking about. So that will bring about quarreling on what you should do or what not to do. So in order to bring order in the church and peace in the church, you could see why Paul is telling that, he's saying that women should avoid the braiding of hair and of wearing gold and pearls. Now it is not a wrong thing to wear gold. If you can afford gold, you can wear gold. If you can afford pearls, you can wear pearls. I think what he means here is Paul is saying, do not focus on what is outside, because beautifying yourself, it can become an idol, because you're more focused on your outside beauty, on decorating yourself. You're not focusing on, are you right with the Lord? If also you read in the book of Peter, First Peter chapter 3 verse 3 to 6, he also speaks on women should also avoid braiding their hair. In this, he's talking of how women should carry and behave in marriage, and also how men should treat their wives in marriage, and how they on the posture that you should take as a wife in marriage and as a husband in marriage. So he's talking about women should avoid braiding their hair and adorning themselves with gold and pearls. Instead, what is appealing to the Lord is a quiet spirit, and it is a gentle and a quiet spirit, which in the sight of God is very precious. Now, he's not saying that you should just look wherever, or let yourself be ragged. No, he's saying that as much as you look beautiful on the outside, you should also be beautiful on the inside. He talks about the hidden person of the heart is with the imperishable jewel of a gentle and quiet spirit. This is something that a wife, a woman in marriage should have. She should not just look beautiful on the outside, she should also have a good heart, which is more pleasing to the Lord. So for me personally, I make braids or wear add hair that is not real to my natural hair, because I have terrible hair breakage when I let my hair to be natural. For me, it's also easy and manageable to make my hair this way, and also so that I won't lose my hair, because if I let my hair to be natural, it means I have to spend a lot of time worrying about my hair, combing, and do I look It's just an easy way that I manage my hair. Do I look presentable? I do not have an evil intent. I'm not taking part in being a pagan. This is just how I choose to make my hair, to avoid hair breakage, to look decent, to look like my hair, so that it could be easier to manage. So yeah, and it is a choice I make. But if you're a person who prefers to be natural, there's nothing wrong with being natural. If it is something you choose to do, it's okay. But I'm speaking of people who have a problem with believers or Christian women braiding their hair or using other natural hair to add to their hair. The question you should be asking is, why are they doing it? And you who's doing it, you know the reason as to why you're doing it. And there's nowhere in the Bible that God talks of hair length and its naturality. It's just something that Paul and Peter speaks of to show modesty, to bring order in those times, and why the braiding of hair brought chaos and other things that caused disorder in the church. To conclude in all this, I am saying and I am telling you, do your research. Women were braiding their hair way before Paul talked about or was against women braiding hair. So go do your research why Paul was talking of this, why he was against it at the time. I am telling you that if you read the word, don't just read a verse, read the entire book. Do your research, know the context of what is being spoken about, and don't just make assumptions or think or start doing things because of what you think is right in your head. Do your research. And my message is, let's not focus on what is on the outside, because people will give you a lot of things: what to do, not what to do, what to eat, what not to eat, how to dress, and all these things. But you, as the individual who's watching me, or you, whoever is watching me, how are you living your life as sacrifice to Jesus? Are you living for self, or are you living for Jesus, with how you eat, how you speak, how you carry yourself? Because people will tell you, make your hair like this. When you put on makeup, they tell you, or make your nails, they tell you, oh, spirit of Jezebel. Or when you make your hair, when you braid your hair, they'll tell you, do you know that is forbidden? You'll go to hell. If you do this, there's always something. That is why even Jesus talks about, when he spoke to the Pharisees, teachers of the law, that they were more focused on what is going on outside. They wear long robes, but inside they do not know God. They're like whitewashed tombs. So in as much as you look good on the outside, be pure at heart too. And know why you're doing the things you're doing, why you're carrying out whatever practices or beliefs that you do. Why do you do the things you do truly? And that's it. So have a nice day. Think about it. You may want to share this with someone you know. Talk about it. I also want to know your thoughts. What do you think about how women should manage their hair in the Christian faith? I want to know. Share your thoughts with me. Okay, have a lovely, blessed day. Bye.